Alright, that's the end of it for Pamplona. We're on our way today to Puente la Reina. It's 6:30 in the morning. Oh! That water and me, we just don't get along in that bag. Oh! Putting it in sleeve. That's to have water. This is part of my 7 pounds of water that I carry. This backpack's got nothing in it but camera equipment. You know what the roadies must feel like. I have glasses so I can read my map to get out of town until I can find all the yellow arrows. Anyways, buen camino. Okay, so here we're just outside of Pamplona, and you can see by that little map in the middle, we're going to have to go way up that mountain top right there, and that's about halfway of our walk today. And here we met up Kathy from Texas, and Peggy also met this chap here that came from Guelph, Ontario, so she talks to him for a little while. Quite amazing as Peggy walked up through this town with this guy from Guelph, Ontario, the same town we lived in for so many years. And Peggy got to talk to this guy, and he knew so many people that she knew from the planning department because he was an architect and worked there. Pretty wild. As we're walking out of town, we can start to see the mountain in the distance that we're going to have to go over. It looms very, very high. It looks like it's going to be a very big mountain to get over. Sometimes you can see that we get to walk on paved roads, or that one was more cement, and now here we are back on some gravel. This gravel's kind of big gravel, showing we don't have that much farther to go to the top of the mountain. 8.4 kilometers, which doesn't sound like very much until you start walking it uphill. As you can see here, the pathway has gotten very rocky. It's not smooth at all. And these rocks, walking on these are very hard on your feet and very easy to twist your ankle. So you right on the very edges sometimes it's a little smoother. But these make it very hard and very slow. Even this gravel here that looks a little bit better is still very hard to walk on. And some tricky people have decided to get right off of the track and walk right on the farmer's field. And there's been so many of them that there's actually a track that goes right on it, on the farmer's field. Here we found a nice little bit of cement road, but it's only for stopping and looking. And we're stopping and looking back, and we get to see Pamplona way back in the distance there. That's where we came from this morning. And it's been a very slow uphill walk through a lot of bad gravel that I was just showing you. And here there are finally some benches. So everyone is taking advantage of the benches. Everyone's stopping to have a drink, have a bite to eat. And then we unfortunately don't get to walk on the nice cement road on ours. We're going to be on the gravel track on the right. Here we are walking towards that ridge of mountains, which doesn't seem to get any closer no matter how long you walk. It's getting quite warm today. Fortunately, we're in a town that has a little town fountain. As you can see, all the pilgrims are lining up to get their water. And even though it's not even really lunchtime yet, it's still, the sun is beating down really hard on all of us. And we're not even really anywhere near getting to the top of this mountain. We've walked a long, hard road getting up to here, but we still got a lot to go to get up to the top of the mountain. And then at the top of the mountain, it's only halfway, so Peggy decides that she wants to get out of these long pants and get into some shorts. So you're on the Camino, and there's no place to go in and get changed. So we just hide behind a little house here. There's some shade, and as you can see, there's no people you can see for miles. And Peggy just gets changed right there, and we get ourselves back together, and we're on the road again. They have a cute little old church here. A lot of these churches in the little towns, they're from the 12th century, 15th century. This one's probably at least 600 years old, just a tiny little church. But we just pop in, pop out, We have to get going. We've got a long way still to get up to the top of this mountain. There off in the distance, it's hard to see, but there's a bunch of windmills up on the top of the mountain there. And that's where we're trying to get to the top, it looks like. All day we've thought we were going to have to go over the very high peak, but it looks like we're going to have to go over there on the side. And this is when we start to get the reputation for being the slowest pilgrims, because we don't do going uphill very well. We have to stop. We're really huffing and puffing. We have to look around and just take a break, take it easy, because going uphill all day is very, very tiring.
Entiéndeme, yo te amo y luchar por una vida que vale la pena, eso es amor, entiéndelo, amor.
So here we finally got to the top of the mountain, and of course in front of this sculptures it's the #1 photo op of the day, and we're actually quite lucky that we got a picture like that with all these other people in front of it. It's hard to get a spot there. Everybody's taking pictures in front of it, and we were very lucky. Peggy got a picture in front of it there, and they let me have this whole shot all to myself, which is quite amazing when you look at how many people are there. There's a lot of people there. Anyways, now we're here at the top. It's time to stop, have a little break, and have a little bite to eat, have a look down the mountain to see where we're going next. Way off in the distance there, the fourth town. It's virtually impossible to see, but it's on the horizon. That's where we have to go to. Anyways, we're very lucky that there's a food truck up here. We can get some fresh orange juice, some fresh coffee, and maybe a banana, and again, one of these stamps that you get along with. Now you're going to see a couple of children and their father walk by here, and the mother in a long white dress and her daughter, and it's obvious that these people are not pilgrims. They've just come up by car to get to the top of the mountain. There's lots of tourists that come here. They're not all pilgrims. This lady on the right we met, she's from Winnipeg in Canada. She has the same hat as us, so they think all Canadians have the same hat. Is one of the great symbols of the Camino. It immortalizes the pilgrims in steel on their way to Santiago de Compostela. On one figure, you can read a phrase in Spanish that means, where the path of the wind meets the path of the stars. The top of this mountain is the path of the wind, and the path that we're on to Santiago de Compostela is the path of the stars. Well, it's time to go down now, and this road going down, it looks more like a rock slide. It's not really a road. It's huge, big rocks. It's virtually impossible to walk on. It's very, very hard now. There's little bits at the edge sometimes, and it's a rock slide, and they call it a road. There's a sign here saying for walkers to go down on the left and bikes to go down on the right. Now, the right definitely looks a lot smoother than the left. So, which way should we go? Follow the way for the walkers or follow the way for the bicyclists? Well, we now have been on the Camino for a little while, so we know that basically all of the roads lead to the next town. So, since it's virtually impossible to walk down this one, and the speed we're going is actually slower going down than we were going up, and it took us so long to get to the top, who knows what time we'll get in tonight if we keep walking this slow. So we're going to go down the bicycle side just because it looks smoother. Not sure what this sign says, but I believe it says if every pilgrim going by were to pick up one rock off the road and deposit it on this pile, the road would be a lot smoother. Myself, I'm getting to the point where I think maybe they should just put a zip line in here and just get us right down to the bottom of the mountain in no time at all. The only reason they sent us down this way for the bikes is because there was a set of stairs there and they didn't want the bikes to go down the set of stairs. Thank goodness the road's gotten a little bit better as we come down, but still, this is large gravel to walk on. It's still kind of hard on your feet. In Spain, in the early afternoon after they've had lunch, everyone goes for siesta. So when you come into a town where everyone is having siesta, it almost looks like the aliens have stolen everyone away. It's very strange to walk down the streets and there's absolutely nobody. The only other people you see during siesta time are other pilgrims. You see a couple of pilgrims here just pass us by. Of course, we are the slowest pilgrims, so everyone passes us by. That's part of our what makes us famous at this point in time. But you can see there's an albergue here, and everyone's going in here, stop and have a drink. We still have a long ways to go, so we're just going to keep on going, but you can see it only costs 10 euros for a bed here for the night, and but we still have a long ways to go, so we're not going to stop here. But when I look into the yard, I can see Kathy that we saw this morning. I can see her enjoying a nice cold one. What you guys are seeing here looks kind of like nice green countryside, but it is really, really hot. It looks like this to us. It just is that. That's what it feels like. The sun is beating down on us, and there's virtually no shade. We found a little bit of shade here, light shade, and we're looking back at the top of the mountain where we were up there just a few hours ago and see how far that we've walked and come all the way to here. But we have to keep going. We've got a long ways to go still. We still have to go to this town coming up and then to the next town, and the next town is the town we're going to for the night. We've come into a town, and we still have 2 towns to go. And there's an albergue here, and we still have to go 2 more towns, but we're thinking about whether we should stop for a moment, have a little bit of a rest. Okay, we've decided we're going to stay, going to take a rest, and look at that sign, 692 kilometers. We've broken the 700 kilometers, and it requires me to sing my Camino song. 692 kilometers to Santiago, 692 kilometers to go. If I walk another kilometer today, how many kilometers to Santiago? Here we meet Andre for the first time. He gives us a whole new idea about thinking whether we should have booked our rooms every day as we went along, but because we could have just stopped now, got a room here. Unfortunately, this is a bunk bed dormitory, and that's not really the way we'd plan to do this Camino. But they have cold drinks here, so it's time to have a few Cokes. Place has got a pool. It's so hot, I'm really thinking about just going and jumping right in the pool by myself, or just paying them the €10 a night to use the hotel. Anyways, after sitting here for about an hour and drinking lots of Coke and getting some nice cold waters, we're getting ready to get back out on that road, get down to 2 more towns, and we're in for the night. Coming into a town called Obana. We have a nice little shelves all along here, and there was a young lady selling lemonade for donations, right? Boy, they say it's 30 degrees out here, but it's got to be 38 in the sun. Looking back one last time at way back on that mountain range where we were a few hours ago when we were halfway through the day. It's still siesta, and you can see that it's still very, very strange. We're walking through a town, and there's absolutely nobody in the town anywhere. It's a really beautiful town with some old churches, a lot of gorgeous buildings, but not one person anywhere to be seen. Okay, the road out of town. We're on our way to the last town of the day, Puente la Reina. This is the town where the Queen built the bridge so the pilgrims could get across the water. It's a very, very famous bridge on the Camino. It's been a very long and very hot day, and even though we're in the town that we're coming, our destination town, we're still nowhere near the bridge that's made this town famous. We're just going to get to our hotel and try and get ourselves settled, get ourselves washed, get our clothes washed, and see about getting a quick bite of dinner. It's been a very long and very hot day. get peanut butter on this side of the world.
Our place is a mess in here. Excuse the mess.
There's no room for my elbows, that's all.
And there's no air conditioning, and we just suffered a whole day of heat.
Really. We'll get a big piece of cheese to go with all our wine.